I'm Jeffrey Rowe Kohut. This is my Potter's Journal. It is April now, 2025. We're here in the greenhouse again today. I have been making a series of flower pots. I'm going to work up in size, but I thought maybe I should make some watering cans too. It occurred to me I might have something that would work. Back in 2020, when there was more time to be creative and not just make production ware to sell, I did a series of jugs inspired by French oil and water jugs, the Spanish botijo. And, well, what do I do with them? At the farmer's market, they say, well, if it's not obvious what it's for, but what's it for? So this is something that I thought they don't want to hear the history behind these things. They don't want to hear about the beading. They're not interested in medieval designs. What's it for? Well, a whole series of these. I did a series of 101 jugs. You can find on my YouTube channel here. Well, they would be great in the garden for watering plants. Hey, and it works too. I didn't know if it would pour. This one does as well. I've actually picked up a few of these that don't pour. They're more decorative than they are functional. So they always put us to higher standards. Okay, today I will give you a kiln opening. I will show you some of my thoughts on how to put the glaze, where it should go, how it should fit the body of the pot. I'm not sure that I get it right. And I will glaze a couple of the pots too. So 3 parts to the video. Okay, let's see what's going on in the studio today. So I am wanting to leave a portion of these pots unglazed, as they were when they were once used as oil jugs for street lamps. But where do you put that line? When it's partially unglazed or glazed, or any time you're decorating a pot, where that line is of extreme importance. So I'm going to pencil on some lines here. This one is at just about the midpoint of the belly of the pot. It's also right below, okay, the spout and where it attaches. I'm going to try another line just below where the handle is. It will cut into the belly of the spout a little bit, and it's above, okay, the belly of the pot. And then we will try one where I think a natural place for it to be is below the belly of the pot. So it could actually be maybe, I think, a 1/4 inch lower. So I will draw another line with pencil there. And now we've got some time, since this is not a production item, or if you're developing a new production item or doing maybe a series of mugs for your own kitchen, you know, you think about where it might look best. I think I'm also thinking that once upon a time these may have just been glazed on the inside, but this is 2025 and we want our pots glazed. So I'm thinking outside to probably about here. And now when I dip it in the glaze, we have a place to dip it to. Now with this, it looks like where I put the stamp was a natural place for the glaze to come just above it. Just above it. However, I'm not sure that it shouldn't just come down to the bottom, as it did on this little test piece that I made. Okay, a little mini vase. Any of these were not lost in the back passages of my studio, but put there because I wasn't sure how to glaze them. That I hadn't worked out exactly what I wanted to do. And this one, the line is definitely in the wrong place. That looks very awkward. That I think we will bring, if a second glaze is used on the top, we will bring it down to about here. And before we move on to the glazing, a look back in my potter's journal of 2020 to where I first saw these and sketched them out. Okay, here in my journal, there's the one with the twisted coiled handle. Nice grouping. Okay, and apparently I was thinking then, too, about where to place the line for what is glazed and what may not be. Okay, glaze time. Here is how we transform this thick, high gloss to another glaze entirely. All I do is take some water and add it to the glaze to thin it down. Now I will take this back out. I will take an equal amount back out when I need to get the higher gloss for my production ware. And then all we do is, let's see if we can get the drill from behind there. Okay, put the drill in there. Okay, we will give it a good mix. I honestly may have just set myself up here to show you disaster in the Pottery Glaze studio. Okay, this cup is not going to overflow the jug, but we will get some glaze in there. Now, getting it out and getting all the inside glazed without, okay, spilling it all over and down the side. I think we did it. And we've got the lines there for where I want to glaze it to. Let's make sure they hit in nice places and don't cover or make a mess of my stamp. We will dip it in there to the pencil line. And okay. Yeah, I hope. Whoa. This is too heavy. The little beading on the bottom when they're thrown like that gives you something to grab onto for dipping in slip or glaze. That the vintage antique ones often had great drips. That I think is a little bit beyond me, so we're not going to go looking or trying to get them. We got the inside glazed nice. Now the problem is there is really nothing to hold on to. So, okay, I can get it in the glaze. Now, lifting it out. Okay, yeah, I can put a finger right here because I could not hold this. And that did give us, okay, little spots where the thumb was. And then when we lift it and put our thumb back down, we get a nice little impression that on the handle, I'm not sure if we should leave it like that, which would give it some historic authenticity, or we should dot a little bit of glaze on. I'm going to leave it like that. Okay. And these are the first firing test batches to see how they work out, and then we'll do the bigger ones. This is a really odd and interesting, intriguing configuration on the handles. That's one of the things that attracted me to it, and all of the French oil jugs in general. This time it is the sea mist I'm using on these, and I did, what did I do to it? I did take some water out of it to make it a little bit thicker this time, because when I'm using it and wanting slips to show through, I thin it down. Okay, so hopefully we've got a nice drip there that'll work to our advantage. And now I can see, you know, the difference where the glaze lies a little bit better than with just a line on there. I'm pleased enough, I think. and when pouring this out, I'm starting to the side of the spout and then trying to finish with the spout. When I dip it in, it will come up to the spout because, or somewhere around there, I'm not sure how a vapor lock works. Okay, and I want to use the line just above my maker's stamp. Just above that. Okay. And if you can hear, I've got the kiln on low. We've on the bottom shelf to start to get it warmed up. We are okay. We have the hum of the kiln, and there they are, the first of the French oil and water jugs. After sitting in the studio for so many years, the first of them in the glaze kiln to see how that comes out. And before I look in the kiln, it looks like this is, okay, my production list on what I would actually make. I don't know that it occurred to me then that some of these would be great for watering plants. What is in the kiln today? Or maybe I should say, what is that? That's not what I expected, and that's not what we're looking for. Okay, this is not what I'm looking for, but this is what I'm looking for. I've been firing a set of dinnerware plates that didn't have enough glaze on, so I brushed real lightly a second coat. What I forgot was that I had done some as samples in a different color. So I brushed the blue over the tan, the sea mist, over the snow on brick. But real quickly, this is so we don't waste space on the plate shelf. Really fast, we got to get to the bottom of this kiln load. There must be about 16 or 20 of these from this dinnerware set now that, okay, my old boy takes on the look of Andy Warhol with the crazy hair, or is it a William de Kooning painting? Okay, and the slipware. You know, that series of jugs on the bottom of the kiln was done before I was into this kind of slipware. The bottom of the kiln, this is what we're after. This is what we want to see. This is what is different from my normal production ware. So a series of pots made back in 2020. I didn't know how to glaze them then. Was it wise to wait? Did I do any better now? Okay, I'm inspired by French pottery oil jugs. They were, at that time, they were made in earthenware, but mine are in stoneware. Some raw clay on the bottom. This is the only one where I really allowed the drips and the thumbprints. And I remember doing this. Okay, somebody warned me on the coiled handle, the coiled twisted handle, and how it was hard to get it to work. Maybe I must have done something right. I don't see any cracks or breaks or splits. So you'd have to go back to 25 years ago in my videos. And I think the video was even titled Twisted Coiled Handle. Okay. Oh, wow. It looks like there's a drip of the sea mist there. This one was glazed 5 years ago. I just never put it in the kiln. Was that something that just happened while it was sitting here on the bench, on the shelf? I don't know. So I have bigger ones of these to do. The idea is to get it worked out here, and these are a little bit warm. On this one, I think I should have brought the glaze all the way to the bottom and not left the raw clay. It okay, it has, yeah, it looks out of proportion. It looks out of proportion to me. But I do like the way this beading, whatever you call it, a coil, fits the pot. That okay, this is so prevalent in the French pottery oil jugs. They were used to fill lamps, oil lamps, but highly decorated. I guess we know it today mostly. Medieval technique too, if I remember right. I don't know, but I think today known mostly maybe from Doug Fitch of Fitch McAndrews Pottery Pictures. Now this is something different here. Okay, here these were inspired by the Spanish botijo, the water jug. And this is a different kind of slip decorating here. Okay, unlike the little plate I was showing on the top shelf. See if I can pull one of those aside. Yeah, here it is. Unlike that, I band the black over the white and then swipe, okay, a rib up and over it. So I need to be a little bit careful. I wanted the blue, the sea mist, to come to about there. It ran a little bit more than I would like. And you know, on this one too, I have, this is a test for how I want to glaze the bigger ones. The raw clay was a mistake here. I should have glazed all the way down to the bottom. But I wouldn't say that's bad, probably. And you know, this handle, I think, is a little thin. A little thin. It could be stronger, a little thicker and stronger, but it feels sturdy. And yeah, it's a shape I like. Thinking these may end up in yeah, maybe we'll say gallery show at Bella's Wishes. That you know, I didn't know what to do with them, how to market them, what to do with them. To say they're French oil jugs, people are always, what do you do with them? You know, for your garden, it's okay to have a little decorative plaque in your garden with butterflies that say, "Welcome to Butterfly Garden." But we can't put something like this in the garden or on the garden windowsill as decorative. It has to have a use when it comes from an artist and a potter. Why is that? So I was thinking about just saying they are watering cans. Not watering cans, but for watering potted plants on your windowsill. We don't want to say greenhouse. Nobody has one of those. Here I do like the proportion, and this is when it's just a solid glaze and raw clay with the slip decorating. I should have brought the glaze all the way down. But this is unusual configuration of handles, but very much inspired by the historic pieces. There's one more with another very interesting configuration of the handles. Not easy to get them to all look like they fit, even when they do. Okay, it's rather unique. And, okay. So, I am maybe ready now to move on to the bigger ones. Okay, so that was a test. Those were the small ones. Stop back and see if I can pull it off with the big ones. Stop back for more of my flower pot series. Here's one from the late 80s in redware. And I cut my own hair as well. So stop back and see if I have time to clean myself up and get my hair cut. Okay, before we meet in the studio next week.